Okay, TSL Hyun, the red Zerg down on the bottom right of Ohana, is on a rampage. He's actually all killed his last 2 opponents, Grubby and Fnatic alive, and is already doing quite good work here against Roxkiss Titan. This could be a 3rd in a row, but we'll see, obviously, if the blue Protoss up here in the top left, Roxkiss Titan, will put an end to this super long win streak of Hyun.
So far, if I can make an analogy, Titan has played very similarly to MC. You know, MC does a lot of those 2-base timing pushes that, you know, kind of people say 2-base all-ins. Doe was always famous for saying MC was kind of a 2-base player. But the difference between their play right now is just the force field control. In the last game, Titan had that army set up where you just roll through and crush the Zerg army, and then you get in the rally points, and they can't ever remake the army. But he just hasn't had the force fields. If he just has his micro a little bit better, he could be dominating Hyun in that last game. We'll see if he does it on Ohana, which is obviously another really good Protoss map.
Yep, this is another one for 2-base play if you're going to be doing it. We saw Crank and Tyr actually both go for similar builds against Hyun and their respective weeks. I think Grubby's was more of a defensive style game when they played on Ohana, but I think Hyun is pretty comfortable on this map. It's kind of weird when you're picking maps in Fight Club because obviously Hyun is so good at all of them. He's already displayed that he can win on every map in our pool, so you definitely want to pick the maps that you're most comfortable with because Hyun's not going to have a problem on any of them.
Yeah.
So hopefully Titan does have something in mind with this Game 3.
Looks
Spawning
like
Pool is going to go down first.
He's actually going Nexus first, so a little bit of a change-up. He's not going to try any more of that cannon shenanigans at the natural. And I'm guessing Hyun, after having it happen to him twice, he's going to be very weary of that.
That's right, and we'll see if Titan is going to commit and drop the Manor Pylon or if he's just going to continue this dance for a while. Hyun has not sent a second drone out toward that 3rd base location, so it is possible.
Oh, he gets it down.
Titan walks off the line a little bit too much. There is still just a limited area where you need to drop that hatchery, so sometimes players will just, you know, rally all around like this and eventually walk off the actual path and allow that Zerg player to actually get the hatch down. That's okay, though. Titan obviously has another build. I mean, he's got his build in mind. He just has to stick to it. Did not waste the 100 minerals or, you know, any time, really, trying to block that with the pylon.
Yeah, and he's going to be in pretty good shape. You know, Nexus first against Pool first gets you a pretty good economic shape against a Zerg. And from there, a lot of times you can take a quick 3rd simply because the Zerg wants to drone up afterwards rather than, you know, making a bunch of lanes and trying to break down your wall. So you really don't have to make that many defensive fighting units. We'll see if Hyun is going to do a standard 3-base. It looks like he is. He's sending the drone to the 3rd now. And there it is. So very standard stuff by Hyun. I would really like to see Titan take a 3rd in response to scouting that if he does. Simply because he's done 2-base all-ins 2 games in a row. And while, you know, the second game it was looking a lot better for him, his micro wasn't up to snuff. And his macro really hasn't been that bad. So I'd really like to try and see him try something different this game.
Yeah, he's got his first gateway up now. Obviously, the cybernetics core is going to be next, and he will be able to sort of open up his tech path from there, figure out if he's going to go Stargate or if he's going to go any robotics facilities or anything like that. I'm not sure. Something's going on in our studio. The producers are handing notes around. It's very distracting, but that's okay. They actually look like twins. Our producers, Paul and Rudy, actually look like twins today.
I think they are twins.
With their plaid
With their
flannel.
plaid. They look like the guy from Home Improvement.
They're the producer brothers. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Anyway, we're finally back. Okay, we're focused now. Those guys are gone, and we do have a couple of... What is going on?
Anyway, he's getting his +1 upgrades, so he's going to probably be going for another 2-base build for my guess. If not an all-in, he's going to have a few gateways push out. Hyun, meanwhile, droning up as per his usual, trying to get up to that 60 count. And then, you know, branching off whether it's going to be tech to roaches as he's done the first 2 games, or if he's going to try something different. Mutas is actually not that rare on this map, a lot more common than the other map we've had so far. But, you know, Hyun, he really doesn't switch it up that much, just same solid play. So far, about the same thing, just getting his geysers now, and we'll see what he's going to decide to do as soon as he manages to get his 6 drones on gas.
We do have Titan actually moving out around just with this Stalker, looking for any spare, or not spare, stray Overlords or Lings that he can try to kill off. But we do have actually Titan is very close to him on the worker count this time around, unlike, you know, obviously the first game, which just didn't make any sense, and the second game where Titan actually had a bit of an advantage going in, but the worker count is very similar. We do have 4 Lings coming for Hyun and that Roach Torn, which means the lair is most likely going to follow that up. He can start to create some roaches as the lair finishes up and get the roach speed.
It looks like Hyun is playing the exact same game he's done the first two. His build's almost exactly the same. No reason to switch it when it's working. Titan, though, looks like he's going to do this little 2-base poke. If he can get this pylon down, he might be able to do a little bit of damage, simply because Link speed isn't even started yet. So he could actually do a lot of damage if he managed to get some combat units up here. He'll have to get that pylon to finish, though, and I'm not sure if he's going to... Oh, wow, he actually is going to be able to defend it. So he has 4 gateways up, and he's building a robo. I'm assuming that's going to be for a Warp Prism, followed by some Immortals. This could actually do a little bit of damage. He doesn't have that many units. He only has 3 roaches on the way. And like I said before, no Ling speed.
All right, so he does actually manage to successfully defend the pylon. He's going to have a couple of Zealots still standing to be able to do some damage. He's got 5 Stalkers total now, trying to take out some drones. But obviously, he's going to focus the roaches down first, those fighting units, but he's going to take what he can get. Stalkers do walk very quickly. Obviously, he can turn and focus fire those drones if he wants to, but we do have a couple of Zealots actually still standing. Actually, just 1 Zealot still standing. Was it a Warp Prism? No, actually,
no, Immortal first, yeah. And actually, he backed out there. I thought he could have done a little bit more damage, and it looks like Hyun just, realized he didn't have Ling speed, just now starting it. 8-minute and 30-second Ling speed. That is pretty late, but he is going to get away with it on 3 base. 11 drones.
That's so weird. Like, he's under attack. He knows Titan's doing something a little bit more aggressive, and he's like, okay, I'll just use all my larvae on drones. I don't care. I have enough Lings to soak damage long enough for
just
more
now getting Ling speed, though, and Titan doing a little bit different, getting armor before getting +2. He might have just forgotten the Twilight, and like I was hoping, he is going for a 3rd base, but he's going to have enough to defend this.
He is trying to get that 3rd base up. There are a lot of Lings here. They don't have speed. They don't have +1 upgrades or anything like that. So Titan actually has a good chance of defending this. Look at this. Look how good this force field is.
Wow, those were really good.
Cut off so much surface area for those Lings and actually kept all those Stalkers but 1
Wow,
alive.
And he's going to kill a lot of Lings here. He's going to get almost, I think he got all the Lings, and he got most of the roaches. Titan in great shape, getting his 3rd actually ahead of Hyun in food, which for a Zerg player, that's really unusual at this stage of the game. Getting Twilight now, he's probably going to finish the same time he gets armor, even in workers with a larger standing army.
52 units killed compared to 3.
Yeah.
Those force fields were night and day compared to last game. This one here, protecting those Stalkers, was amazing. Only took 2 force fields here to just trap all those Lings. They didn't have speed, so they had nowhere to go, and it just basically ran them through the grinder there.
Oh, wow. Hyun actually being really greedy here, going for a 4th base super early while he's actually behind in army count.
He must feel that it's necessary, though. We're going to see if these force fields can continue. We do have 3 roaches sort of getting segmented off there. 1 more shot from that Stalker would have finished
he canceled
off
that
roach.
4th. He realizing he's under siege now, and he's going to have to build a lot quickly because this is actually a pretty deadly force depending on the sentries control.
Yeah, these Immortals, again, are going to be the key component of this push. If these sentries can actually protect it well enough with force fields and they stay alive through the onslaught of Lings that are sure to pop out here. Obviously, they're the cheapest to make, but look at this. We have tons and tons of minerals and gas for Hyun. I'm not sure what's going on. Did he build a Spire already? Because that would explain maybe if he was going to make a couple waves of
No, he's just going into Ling and Fester. You can see getting melee upgraded. Just, I think, a little indecisive and not really sure how he wants to respond to this.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's his problem, man, because he's been doing these same builds for so long. I'm a little surprised that he got up that high before spending all of it. Now we see 10 roaches in production, a couple of upgrades as well, +1/+1. Really late, actually, for how he's been going. And pathogen glands, but War Prism coming up, Blink coming up, +2
and +2,
ground weapons.
yeah.
So Titan is on top of his upgrades.
And now that he has 3 base and more gateways, he's going to have a much more deadly push than he did last time. He's actually putting a full wall at his 3rd. Only down 10 workers. Very, very good shape. Obviously, it means his army is larger than Hyun's, and especially because the roaches are his army is a lot more efficient, especially with Blink and +2 finishing, and now the Warp Prism with his army.
All right, he is trying to hit a narrow window here. These infestors aren't out yet. There's going to be 1 fungal available on each of them as they pop out. So if he can live through that and actually keep his army divided enough to actually live through those fungals, that's going to be really good for him, obviously. A couple of force fields there keep the roaches from being able to go through that left side. He's going to walk up toward the natural.
Oh, great force fields there. Yes. Yeah, trapping half the roaches in, half the roaches out. Merle's doing a ton of damage. Blinks onto the infestors. Actually a pretty good blink. Force Field still forcing most of the Lings out. Fungal's going down. Lings are getting good damage onto the Stalkers, but he has so many. Now they manage to blink back. Infestor's pretty much out of energy now, and a lot of the Stalkers will have another blink. Kills more Infestors. Reinforcements coming in. Drones coming off the line for Hyun, and it looks like Titan's actually going to be able to take this game.
Yeah.
GG.
Yeah, GG from Hyun. I was going to say he's making 40-something Lings, but it's not going to matter. The sentries didn't really have any energy left, but the force fields were so